All right, I want to talk about another topic, right? I had this reason with my brother, Dr.
Okay.
Hines, and he has a term that everyone necessarily doesn't need a father, but they need fathering. And we spoke about the context when people say so much like, I didn't grow up with my father, I'm good, from both males and females. And I just think that one, they say they're good because they didn't have the experience of the father, and
Right.
also it's just a coping mechanism that they use for what they're dealing with. Since you grew up in a single family home, do you think everyone is impacted if the father is missing, or it's only some people who are impacted negatively when the father is missing?
I know everyone is impacted because the father represents leadership, guidance, protection, security. He's God in the house. And without that structure, that leadership, that order, it's chaos. It's chaos. And so me growing up with a single mother, I desired that. I used to say like, I want my dad, you know. My dad got deported, right? But whatever the situation was, I desired that. And I seen the effect that it had on me not having that,
What were those effects?
not knowing how to deal with a man, not knowing how to, yeah, just deal with a man. Because for a girl child, her first love as far as the masculine is her father. So not having that, I didn't have that structure, I didn't have that security. And I think that played a role. And so wanting that, not having that, definitely I had to learn as I got older how to deal with a man, how to respect, how to not talk too much. All of these different things, having to learn on my journey, rather than if I did have a father, definitely would have played a major role in my life as far as dealing with men, definitely. And so,
You mentioned something called structure, right? And
yes,
but all right, so I hear females say this all the time. They want structure in regards to females that didn't grow up around with a man or with a strong man. That is
right,
right.
right.
When you get the structure, is it intimidating or is it scary? Because they say they want the structure, but when they get the structure now, it seems like it almost like scares them that they're getting the structure.
Yeah. So now here we go. A real man is law. He's structure, and women today, like the modern women, they want the aesthetics of what a man is, but they actually don't want a man because they don't want to be submissive. And I know that's a word thrown out there. Women get scared of
And
that.
explain what you mean by submissive for those unaware.
Submissive as in respect, being the peace, the calm, always, right? So if a lion is roaring, you have to learn how to quiet, you know? So it's just like women don't want to be submissive, women don't want to be corrected. They don't want that. So there's a false sense of, let's say, independence that's been created, and a lot of women thrive with that saying, I'm independent, I could do this, I could do that. But the truth about it is that you need a man, and we have to come to that realization. We're the only nation that of women that say they don't need a man, and you have all these other nations. Those women aren't saying that because they know the greatness and the importance of a man being around, not just financially, but for beyond that. It's beyond finances. It's for the structure. It's for the balance.
And I'm glad you said. I want to add one thing too
Yeah.
for people listening to for the women. In the context of this conversation, you can still be ambitious,
Yeah.
and you can still have your career, do whatever, and still be submissive to the man. I
Absolutely.
just want to make that clear because they go too extremes. It's either like you're totally
Yes.
this. You can still pursue what you're doing, but it's a balance that's needed. And
Right.
there's this ideology where the thing has gone too far, where it's this independence thing, and that's just against the laws of nature, you know.
The independent woman vibes creates fatherless boys, fatherless young girls, no structure. And so, especially for a boy child, they need that. Single women tend to raise emotionally unstable young men, right? They don't know how to deal with their emotions, so they take on this nature of the woman, whereas if they had that father, the father shows a man how to be a man. And he shows his girl child how to respect a man, how to submit, how to behave around so she can balance around the masculine. And so this independent woman thing is not it. It's actually killing our nation, people. And so united we stand, we need the balance. It can't just be feminine, it has to be masculine, that's the balance. And so you can still, being submissive doesn't mean that you don't talk or you're just home not doing anything. You can still be a businesswoman in our culture. And again, it goes back to embracing our culture. In our culture, the women are very ambitious, business-minded, have their roles in the society. There's women that, there's so many women in our culture that have had positions and still knew their role or their position with the man and being submissive. So it doesn't mean that you can't be an entrepreneur. You can be an entrepreneur. It's just it's just balancing with the masculine. That's all it is. It's respect, And so really and truly, if you submit to your nature, this is another level. If you submit to your very nature as the feminine, you're going to see certain characteristics. Being quiet, soft answer turns away wrath, right? A lot of women want to go toe to toe with a man, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be, if he's fire, you're water. It can't be fire and fire. It can't be him feeling like he's talking to a man, So I think that's the thing, that independent woman mindset makes you will give you a false sense of, yeah, I can be just like you. And that's not what it's about. The father has such a important role, especially in a young girl's life, because that's the first man she sees, right? And so that's what she's gonna look for in a man, what her father is. So imagine not having a father. You don't know what to look for. You don't have a standard to go by. So that's, go ahead.
I just gotta add this in, good father.
Good father.
I wanna make clear, we gotta add this.
Yeah, we do. Good father, upright father, man, not a male, right? There's a difference, actual man. And not having that standard as a young girl, it's very chaotic. And, a lot of times, a lot of people talk about, oh, women are whore, they this, they that, they that. It's because they don't have a father. We have to not point the finger on both sides and just say, okay, what's the problem? What's the root problem? And it's no father. The responsibility and accountability is not there. So it's like, you wonder why a woman may be whorish, or why she may stick with a man that's a male that might be abusive, not just physically but mentally, is because she never grew up with a standard. So she doesn't know what to look for and what that is. So a father is that first man in her life, and it's very important for Black men to try to make it work with the woman and being there.
The woman to make it work with the man. There's too much blocked doors out there.
It is. Women are, and that's another thing. So this is the balance with that. I'm not pointing the finger. Women have to learn how to make it work as well with the man. A man is not defined by his financial status. A man represents all those things. Like I said, he represents God. He represents the head of the house, the structure, the guidance, the leadership. You know, that's what he represents. And so you have to see that. And women aren't willing to struggle with men anymore. You know, look at women like Betty Shabazz, that was with Malcolm X, and all of these great leaders. They were struggling. People were calling their house and threatening to kill them, but they stuck by their man. That takes integrity. That takes humility, selflessness. That's a better word. It takes a lot of selflessness, and I think a lot of women don't want to go through that. They want, like in Jamaica, we say ready done. They want a man that's 6 figures, but you a couple change woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, make it make sense. Like we've lost that that unity with each other no matter what.